One last howl for the week. Ow! Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to The Howling. This is our final movie of Werewolf Week. It's sad that it's finally coming to an end, but yeah, we got one more movie to get through, and if An American Werewolf in London is considered the werewolf movie, this is definitely number two. The Howling is synonymous with werewolf films, and apparently there's a bunch of these. Like this series, I guess, of films is very numerous, which surprised me. But we're only doing the first today, obviously. The others will come in future videos. But I'm very interested to see what this entails, because I know nothing about it. Like, I know less about this than I think. Well, okay, I was going to say than any other this week. But to be fair, what I thought I knew about ginger snaps was wrong. So, I guess pretty much the same as that. I know pretty much nothing. I don't know what to expect with this at all. I don't know, like, where it's set. I don't know when this movie came out. I don't know who's in it. So this is going to be pretty interesting to see. But it is our last movie of the week, and so in the afterthoughts, I will also be mentioning what our theme for the next movie week will be. We will be going over that at the very end, though. For now, let us get into today's reaction and see what The Howling is all about. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I think I've just heard Robert Picardo's name places before, because I looked him up, and he's done a couple, like, voice roles of like, old shows that I've heard him in. Like, I think one of them was Cow and Chicken. But it's, like, nothing I would actively know him for. Nothing I would, like, really actively, like, know the name for. I think I've just heard of him before, so, oh well. That being said, so this movie obviously, like, in terms of its themes and stuff, seems to have a few. The ending definitely, like, with the way that everyone's reacting to the broadcast and, like, thinking it's special effects and are clearly not that, like, shocked by it. It's clearly, like, satirizing this almost, view on how violence is seen on television. And this was made in like the 80s, so it's like that's really interesting. I feel like if this movie were made today, that they could really go even harder into that view. I know what I'm trying to say. Into that theme, because sensationalization of violence on television has become, and in media in general, has become even more noticeable since obviously the 80s. Let's be honest, in the 80s it was nothing compared to now. And so the fact that this was made in like the 80s shows that even back then they were noticing this stuff and like making statements on it within media itself. there's obviously a play on the entire like commune living thing as well, with this commune that the doc had organized being just a werewolf colony, a werewolf pack. Um and obviously the biggest theme I would say is the sexual nature of that. Which, as I said in the reaction, there's a lot of like monster media that touches on the sexual nature of humanity. And this one was like very much wearing that on its sleeve. It was very like obvious about it. I mean, even outside of just the scene of Bill and Marcia, turning into werewolves while literally fucking. Like, they're turning into werewolves while he is inside of her. It's like it's pretty obvious even outside of that, though, with like the television programs that were being shown and everything. It's very clear what it was trying to say, like the animalistic nature of man and whatnot. Um, and again, I compared it to the newest Nosferatu film, with Bill Skarsgård. That one definitely has the same kind of vibe to it in terms of sexuality being kind of the main theme. So that's a fun little way to see that. The werewolf design being kind of like bipedal wolves is like I've said it throughout this week, not my favorite kind of werewolf design. I like it when they're like more like a blend of wolf and man, or wolf and woman. You know what I mean, mankind. Like when it's a blend of that rather than just like a bipedal wolf or like a full wolf or whatnot. Um, it's honestly like I'm just not as big of a fan of this kind of design for that. That being said, the effects were pretty decent. Not as good as American Werewolf in London in terms of the transformation sequence, but the transformation sequence from that was like more iconic anyway. It was still good here. We had a couple different transformation sequences here that were kind of they were basically the same, but they were done in a different way. They were shot in a different way, which made them feel each of them unique. Because like even Karen's at the end during the broadcast was very different from like Eddie's transformation, for example. They felt very different, and I'm glad that they gave them almost their own identities with these different transformations that we see. And obviously those transformations were different from like Bill and Marsha's. Um, I like the acting. I think all the actors did a great job. None of them felt too cheesy. Like there was a certain level of '80s cheese that just happens in '80s movies. It's like you can't completely get away from it. But I think everybody otherwise did a great job. Dee Wallace is like legendary scream queen. She did a fantastic job as the lead here. And I liked the story. I liked how it like was going from this woman who's traumatized trying to take down this serial killer and everything. This news reporter who's, working with the police to do this. And then it goes into like her like being unknowingly brought into a werewolf pack's hidden colony in order to be turned into one of them. It's it's quite an interesting story, and I like how everything that was brought up in terms of it did come back into play. The fact that they can transform at any time, not just during the full moon, the silver bullets, the fire, everything that is brought up in regards to the werewolf myth is, enacted upon. And I feel like that's something that they didn't entirely need to do, but I'm glad that they did. I'm glad that they did all of it. Um, I also like how there was some other stuff that did seem to have some level of effect. Because we know they had, it said they have healing capabilities, and it's like you cut off a limb, it's like they'll be able to heal it back. But we saw like TC still did have his arm cut off. He hadn't quite healed it yet. and it's like Eddie got the corrosive acid splashed in his face, and he died before that could be healed and everything. And it's good to see that it did have an effect on them. That it did still hurt them. It's just that, they will be able to come back from it. I also like the cockiness of the werewolves not believing their silver bullets at first. Like the dude Chris, he shoots TC, and it's like bullshit. The dude's like, bullshit, get up, TC, and then gets shot himself. It's like there's almost a certain level of comedy there. Um, yeah, I think this was really good. I really like how this movie was made. I like how the pacing and the writing was. The acting was good. Um, I think it was a good movie. Nothing spectacular, nothing amazing, but definitely worth the view. And so now, before we end this out, I do want to mention what the theme for the next movie week will be at the end of June. So this movie week will be between June 23rd and, let's see, 23rd, 24th, 5, 6, 7, 27th. 23rd and 27th, at the end of the month, and will be, um, once again, 5 movies Monday through Friday. As for what the theme is going to be, this is one that I was like trying to figure out, like, what would be best for June. We're already going to be doing a Pride special for June, so I don't need to worry too much about that. Because we're doing already stuff like for that anyway. So, what kind of movies do I think would be good for June? Well, we did samurai movies with Zatoichi. Now we did some horror movies with the werewolf theme. So I think it might be better for June's movie week to kind of go a little bit lighter. Kind of go into something a little more wholesome. And it's like, with June being, kind of uh, a good month for this theme, with it being summer, I think that June's theme will be the summer of love. We're going to be going into some romance films. May not be your cup of tea, and that's completely understandable. Romance films aren't for everyone, and just not every romance film out there is for everyone. But that is what the theme is going to be. Once again, June 23rd through 27th, that entire week, Monday through Friday. Each day we will react to a different romance film. So yeah, be prepared for that. But thank you, Venom, for donating for this movie. I don't think I said that before, so sorry if I forgot to mention that. This week's movies were pretty good. Just off the top of my head, based off what we got, I still have to say my favorite of these was Wolfman 2025. I just honestly think it was that good. And if I had to say like a least favorite, honestly, out of these, I think my least favorite is probably Ginger Snaps. And that's not to say it's bad, because it's definitely not bad. It's just, I think the weaker parts of it do bring it down enough to where it is the weakest for me. Maybe American Werewolf in London. It's one of those two. I liked Wolfman 2025 the most. I really liked Wolf, and I did really enjoy The Howling. Those two would definitely be the weaker ones. I think it's Ginger Snaps, but it could be American Werewolf. I'm going to have to think about it a little bit more. I'm going to have to, like, I'm still looking through things. I'm going to still look through, like, what I can. I'm thinking about it a little bit more, but that's my thoughts. And I want to hear your thoughts. So let me know in the comments below, what did you think of The Howling? And like I said, there's like a bunch of these movies. I don't know if they're all directly connected, or if it's just like, oh, the next one's probably a direct sequel considering where this one left off. But eventually they kind of become their own thing, kind of go into a different storyline maybe. I don't know. But either way, like I said, tell me what you thought down below. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.